How are we doing, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of Talking to Mod. This week we have an actor who played a key role in probably one of my all-time favourite films, The Business, and that actor is Eddie Webber. I've known Eddie for a long time now, and it's going to be really good to have a chat with him over this podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 27 of Talking to Mod. Here he is.
Oi, oi.
How are you, son?
All right, mate. Can you see me all right?
Yeah, mate, I can see you. Can you see and hear me?
No.
You can't see me?
No.
Oh, fuck. What have you done?
I ain't touched nothing. All I've done was press live when you were live.
You can hear me, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? I mean, you don't need to see this face anyway.
Sweet. Whatever. How are you, Ben? All right?
I'm very well, my friend. Very well. How have you been?
Yeah, good, mate. Just a little bit tired, really. Been quite busy over the last couple of months with more stuff coming, sort of thing. So just trying to grab a bit of peace, as John Lennon said.
Good luck with that, mate. Listen, if it's anything to you, I mean, I'm absolutely shattered as well, mate. I went up to the football last night in West London, and then obviously flew back to Belfast today, and I'm absolutely wrecked, mate, honestly. And
yeah, fucking hell.
Sound a bit like Frank Butcher as well with this voice, mate. My friend. Anyway,
Betty.
Before we get on, we're gonna mention this, by the way, this book, and for anyone who hasn't got it, we're going to give this a good little plug at the end, mate, because we had a little thing. I said to you, you jump on this podcast and you went, you got to buy me book and read me book, and I thought, well, I'll have some of that. And do you know what, mate? It is actually I fucking love it. It is a great read, mate, and we're going to touch up on this in a minute, Eddie, if that's all right.
Yeah, I'm glad you sort of, I mean, I wouldn't sort of give it a leg up, Ben, unless I knew it was all right.
No, I'm reading it. I mean, I've got a little bedside cabinet and I've got a load of books, and as soon as I got it, I was hooked on it, mate. I mean, let's talk about it now, actually, while we're on it. I mean, I opened it up.
It opens up lovely, doesn't it? It sort of grabs hold of you, doesn't it?
Funny you should say that. It's exactly what I wrote down in my notes. So when I read it, I actually thought I was reading a crime novel. I was like, what's going on here? You're immediately caught up in it. And then you dig deeper and you think, bloody hell, I mean, you've had a life, haven't you, mate?
Well, I'm not, you know, no different to the majority of people that I grew up with, really, Ben. That was the way of life in them days, where I lived in Bermondsey. I grew up in South East London, Bermondsey, and you was either a fucking hero or a villain, you know, or you took the road in between, as the famous man said.
Aye, no, 100%. As I said, I love it. And there's some lovely pictures towards the back as well. I mean, that one of you, of course, the iconic character, Ronnie, leaning up against the car. That is the bollocks, that picture, mate, I tell you.
Yeah, no, it's a nice picture, that. Jeff Bell took that picture.
Yeah, Jeff, he loves his photography, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does like a bit of photography. Yeah, he's sometimes a bit too much.
I remember when I first met him in Margate at a Pete Doherty gig. I went up to him, had a little chat, and I went, any chance of like a second, you know, the business too, and get me involved? And he went, yeah, you'd fucking love that, son, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, there's lots of little secret projects going on at the moment, Ben. You know, there's you know, we're sort of, after all these years, we're sort of starting to sort of stake our mark and enforce it, you know, with our own sort of, our own stuff that we're putting together at the moment. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next few months, we'll be putting out a couple of really nice things, you know.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. I can't wait for it. And for those listening, and when the podcast goes out, let everyone know where they could get this book, mate, because it is very, very easy. What I found, I mean, you sent me the link boom, straight away it was there the next day, mate. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't
well,
ask for any more, can you?
no, it's on Amazon. But if people want to go to my Instagram account, Eddie.Weber, the link's in the bio, Ben. So you press the link in the bio and it takes you straight to the Amazon site.
I'll drop that link in the description of this podcast, mate, and get people getting on
Thank
that,
you,
because
Ben.
it's no, mate. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, because I've had some people recommend me some stuff before, and listen, it speaks volumes that I never really spoke about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that says, but I honestly do think this is a brilliant story. You know, it's as you said, it just tells you everything you need to know about it, and there's stuff that people wouldn't expect. And as I said,
well, it was a naughty time when the police sort of fabricated evidence against me for them crimes. You know, it was a fucking scary time, Ben. It wasn't something like you know getting picked up for a bit of puff or anything like that. Or do you know what I mean? It was a different, to end up as an A category prisoner in them places is not it's a scary time, you know.
Would this be like maybe making a film out of this book? Is that something like maybe a project in the future or something?
Well, I mean, people have actually said that, Ben, but I really can't see the film myself. Maybe I'm too deep into it and too subjective about it, but I mean, look, what I wanted to do, Ben, really, I was sitting down talking to my kids one night a few years ago, and I was telling them some of the old stories of growing up, sort of thing, because I've been straight with my kids all along. You know, I'm not one of them sort of people that you know, about prison and things like that. I told them everything that they need to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're your kids, and as I was sort of talking to them, my wife said, "Look, fuck it, why don't you write it all down? Because there was so much to say, I couldn't really do it all in a couple of sittings, sort of thing." So, being a writer anyway, I sort of sat down and I thought, okay, I'll have a look what the first page is like, and I never stopped for 300 pages, Ben.
I'm glad you didn't, mate, because as I said, it's out there now. The world's going to see it, and I honestly couldn't recommend it highly enough, mate. I think it's fantastic. And again,
and
not me blowing smoke.
The titles are great. I love the title as well, you know.
Yeah, so I do as well. I mean, it's catchy, isn't it? And yeah.
Well, Hi-Diddle-dee-dee says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fucking brilliant, mate. But Eddie, do you know what, mate? What I want to know, I mean, like I said, we touched up on the book, we'll get that out there, but what sort of music were you listening to as a kid, mate? I ask all my guests this because music plays a big part in my role.
And I was a fucker.
For the rest,
sorry, go on, mate.
No, that's all right, mate. For the rest of this chat, pretend I've never read the book before.
Yeah, well, I was a big Beatles fan, Ben. I loved the Beatles. I absolutely loved the Beatles. And then when the 70s come along, I really got, you know, I loved the Roxy music and Mark Bolan and Slade and just, but then Zeppelin took over, you know, and then bands, them super groups started. I used to love really guitar driven music, Ben, you know?
Yeah.
But I was always into blues. I was a blues person, really. I like Muddy Waters, Little Walter, you know, the usual sort of crowd, you know. Elmore James, Robert Johnson, just fucking totally. And that sort of inspired me to sort of pick up a guitar, you know, and start learning the guitar. And then I started getting involved in bands in the punk era, because punk blew me away, Ben. It blew me away, punk rock, you know, because we was just, before we was listening to punk rock, obviously the charts was full of fucking the Bee Gees and doing all that shit, you know. And then the punk rock lot come along and wallop. That was it, mate. That was it for me. And then obviously the 80s happened and all the music of the 80s, and then the rave scene. It was a nice couple of eras to grow up, because I was saying to my kids as well, when the Beatles were releasing music in sort of 67, 68, I was like 7, 8 years of age, you know, and that's when you start taking notice of a bit of music. So I was fortunate enough to witness sort of songs like Hey Jude and Get Back and all that at the time that they was put out, you know.
Have you got a favourite Beatles song?
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I like Across the Universe, Ben.
What did you make of that one that they released just before Christmas, wasn't it? It was like sort of like a closing track with and the
Well, I think at first I didn't really I thought, fucking hell, it's awful, because Paul McCartney sounds absolutely awful, doesn't he? He's absolutely terrible. And you can hear his little old man vocals going through the track. But after a couple of times of listening to it, sort of thing, I sort of jumped and watching that video. Because George Harrison and John Lennon, I mean, George Harrison's features eye up there with me as well, you know. His album, All Things Must Pass, was just something like that, blew me away as well, because it was the first triple album, because it was 3 albums. So what happened? All the music that the Beatles never let him record, when they split up, he put them all on. He made a triple album and put all them songs on the triple album. It was called All Things Must Pass. It's just one of the most beautifulest albums ever made in my eyes.
Oh, it's an absolute masterpiece. He's probably one of my favourite Beatles. I mean, everyone says, you know, what's your favourite Beatle? For me, it would probably be Harrison. I just thought the geezer was a genius. I mean, they all were in their own right, but for me, I just thought Harrison, I don't know.
Well, it's a thin line for me with Lennon and Harrison, you know what I mean? The other two is just pointless. They were just bits of furniture in my eyes, you know.
Yeah, don't need them, do you? Just have them two, Lennon and Harrison.
Yeah. When I mean, the sort of stuff that he was doing, because I go to India every year as well, Ben. You know, I love India. I just adore India, and so that attaches me to George Harrison a little bit as well, like songs like Inner Light and Within Without You, and them sort of beautiful little songs he was putting out in the 60s, which were just so before their time, you know. Blue Jay Way. If you listen to Blue Jay Way on the Magical Mystery Tour album, I mean, it's just fucking hell. What is that, mate? And if you think Within Without You, you know, in 1966, when Sergeant Pepper's come out and that track come on, people must have just thought, what the fuck is this, you know?
No, it's some band. I mean, the music they brought out. I mean, I love my music. My favourite band is the Jam, though. For me, when I sort of,
I've seen the Jam. I've seen it. I saw the Jam on a gig with the Sex Pistols, you know, at the old Marquee.
I bet that went off.
Oh no. No, it was brilliant, mate, and Joe Strummer and Mick Jones and all that was all in the audience. I mean, it was them days that there was no pretension, really. It is like the musicians used to sort of hang out in the crowd, sort of thing. And Bazooka Joe, I used to like them as well, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Bazooka Joe.
Rings a bell.
Well, they become Adam and the Ants after.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, but when they was a punk band, they was called Bazooka Joe. They were brilliant, mate, really brilliant. And little bands like Sam Spasm and the Orgasms and the Damn and all that. It was just like,
yeah. I like a bit of the Damn. You can't beat that. But I mean, music's one of these things. I can tell just by these last few minutes, the way and the passion you've been speaking about the music, that I could obviously speak to you about music for probably 2-3 hours, mate. And that's what I love about it, because you know, there's probably music that I've heard that I could talk to you about, and then you could go and listen to it. Like at the moment, I'm listening to a band who are from Ireland, and they're called the Mary Wallopers, right? And they were on
Right.
that. They were on Jules Holland on New
I
Year's.
saw them.
Fuck,
I saw them. I
mate.
saw them,
They,
mate. Fucking powerful. They're powerful, mate.
I,
Three
I,
acoustics. Three acoustic guitars.
That's the ones, mate. That's the ones. I did a gig at the 100 Club, and they were there as well. And I thought before I went back and got the train, I'll go and watch them. And this was my first sort of encounter with them. And I thought, Jesus, it just blew me away. And of course, being in the 100 Club as well, an iconic venue. I mean, mate. And then when their album come out, Irish Rock and Roll come out, I think in November. I bought that on vinyl, mate. Not stop playing it.
No,
I can't get enough of it. Can't get enough
I'll
of
have to check that one out, Ben. I'll have to check. And my boy's got a beautiful little band as well. You know, my Alfie, he went to sort of music. He went to music university, a place called BIM in Brighton. It's like the British Music sort of academy. And Roger Daltrey is the patron of the place, sort of thing. And he met another three lads in the university, and they formed this little band called Comforts. You should check them out on Spotify as well. On their handle is We Are Comforts. They're a good little, beautiful songwriters. Really beautiful. The guy who leads the band, Sam. Absolutely stunning songwriter, like the old days, you know, proper songs, you know, beautiful, fantastic musicians, really, really nice. And they've got a little song called Message to the Night, amongst many more. But to me, it's just one of the most beautifulest, simplest little anthemic songs that you can hear. Check them out. Comforts.
What was that song called? Message to the
Message
Night?
To the night,
Right.
yeah, sending a message to the night.
I'll write that down.
Beautiful, really beautiful, simple, very sort of Beatley as well it is, but with this sort of modern little indie pop thing going around it, you know?
I have a bit of that because I love discovering new music. I mean, when you discover someone, as I said to you a minute ago, like the Mary Wallopers, you discover them, you just go into a rabbit hole and end up finding all sorts of music that they released. And I can't get enough of it, mate. Honestly, it's a big passion. Of course, magic's my biggest passion, but the music, mate, takes it all away. You know, like Bob Marley said, when music hits you, you feel no pain. Eh?
Of course you don't, mate. I can't wait to see that movie.
There's some good music related movies coming out soon, you know. There's I love what have you all right, talking about that music related movies, have you got a favourite one?
What, a music related movie? Cool, fucking hell.
It could be like a documentary. Or, have you ever heard of the Brian Jonestown massacre?
Yeah.
Have you seen the documentary Dig?
Yeah. On Netflix, yeah. It's mad.
Mate.
Really mad.
I ended up doing a 3-week tour with them all across the UK and Ireland, mate. And mate, they're fucking
something else.
Mental, mate, mental. But I mean,
music movies? I mean, fucking hell, man. I mean, that's a really tough question. Really, really, really tough question. I mean, documentaries, they're all day long, but actual music movies.
The Beatles brought out a couple, didn't they? You had what was it? Hard Day's Night, wasn't it?
You had Hard Day's Night, Help, Magical Mystery Tour. You know, I think one of the best films with the best bit of music that I know is McVicar.
Oh, aye.
McVicar, the tunes in that, and also there's a movie called A Sense of Freedom, where Rory Gallagher's doing it, another Irishman. Rory Gallagher's playing sort of acoustic slide guitar on it. It's just absolutely stunning.
Beautiful, man, beautiful.
I don't know, man. I mean, I like this thing. I like this thing that I've watched it a couple of times already. The Dirt, about Motley Crue, you know, fantastic,
mate. That's insane. Yeah, I've been watching that. That's incredible, though. Isn't it?
insane, mate, insane, absolutely insane. But it just reminded me of, I mean, again, they come a lot later, but, well, no, they didn't really, was it? It was the late 70s, wasn't it, they were about? Were they? When were they about, Motley Crue?
Late 70s, early 80s,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, it was late 70s because the Punks, wasn't it? The Punks just happened. And they were still doing all that Kiss stuff and touring with Ozzy Osbourne. But what a great little movie. There's loads of them little movies about, you know. What one did I watch the other night? I watched one about, fucking hell, mate, a blues singer, a woman, Bessie Smith.
Oh, yeah.
No,
What was that, on Netflix?
I think it was on Now TV. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Worth a watch.
Oh yeah, and that other one that's around called is it Cadillac Records? You know, the guy who first signed Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Etta James and
Yeah. That's worth a watch.
mate, there's some good stuff out there, some good stuff. And I also like that Oasis and them little bands, you know, that were around in the 90s.
Yeah, you can't help but notice them. I mean, Supersonic, great documentary, and then you've got Made of Stone by the Stone Roses, talking about the Stone Roses. Incredible documentaries.
I love that, like that 89. I mean, the juxtaposition of 1989 was mad because you had sort of the Inspiral Carpet, Stone Roses. I think the Happy Mondays were just starting to come about. But then you had the rave scenes just happening, you know, the original sort of acid music, then parties that were going around where the E's started going around for the first time. It was a magical time, sort of 1989 till sort of 1994, you know. It was a really, really magical time.
I tell you, talking about the Happy Mondays, Shaun Ryder was in Rise of the Foot Soldier. Who did he play? Is it Mad Dog he plays?
Yeah, I was in the same one, you know.
That's why I'm bringing this bit up, because that must have been mental. Knowing, I mean, you love your music, same as me. I mean, I've done a lot of work with Shaun back in the day, doing like a lot of Q&As with him. That bloke has got more stories than a library. I'm telling you, like, he is mental.
It's a wonder he can think straight, mate. I saw that. Because I like Bez. I know Bez. You know, he's sort of a friend of mine, Bez. And I was watching TV the other day. No disrespect to Bez or anything, but that come on, The Weakest Link, and he was on it. And I said to my wife, I went, oh, fuck me, he's going to go about one round, he is, Bez. He ain't going to last too long on this one, mate. And he never, I think he went in the second round. He's fucking answering questions like, it was just like funny. Good man, though. Good man.
Yeah. Again, a lot in this industry, I mean, we find we just do a circle. Most people know everyone. I've met Bez a few times. I think I might have done something with him years ago, but I remember I did when he played Brighton Dome. Sorry, the Mondays played Brighton Dome. I went backstage and showed him some card tricks, and his reactions, mate. You should have filmed these reactions. Like, his mind was blown.
Hell, mate. How
incredible.
would you do that? Yeah, no, absolutely. He's good people, mate. Good people. Just when their heads have been fucked up by all the E and everything. And everything else that they take,
mate. Good, no, but as you said, fantastic people, and refreshing to see people like that, mate. But we've talked about the music. I'm going to name three. I
can't understand really, because like my boys' band, Comforts, like I told you, Ben. I mean, I listen to this music these days. I don't listen to the radio. To tell the truth, I either listen to LBC or Jazz FM. That's all I can listen to.
Yeah.
I can't listen to anything. There ain't nothing to listen to. It's absolutely awful. And I remember when I was sort of 18, 19, the music man. It was, and the 70s as well. You loved it every week, every weekend. You used to go home, and every Sunday night they used to put the top 20 on the radio, you know, and it was just, and had a countdown, and every single song, every single one of the top 20 were all corkers, you know. And who had Radio Caroline, you know.
Oh yeah, they used to bring out. Didn't they used to do a compilation CD?
Yeah, don't worry about that, mate. In 1972, you know, they were the only ones playing fucking Black Sabbath and all the you know, they're just amazing. The pirate station, they was out in the middle of the ocean, and they were just playing songs that you wouldn't believe that the English radio wouldn't dare play, you know.
Like the boat that rocked. That was the film based on that, wasn't it?
Correct. It's exactly the same principle. I mean, I've been quite fortunate, really, to be my age, Ben. I say that to my kids, that they'll never ever experience what people of my age have experienced in music, you know.
Yeah, no.
Right through, mate. Right through the Beatles, right away through the 70s, right away through the 80s, you know, through the 90s. And that's it. It can never go back like that again. You can never experience that again, you know. And that's what. And people, there's a saying, you know, that people that dance to the music are deemed crazy by people that can't hear the music, you know.
100%.
You know, and that's what it is. We've heard the music, and people, and that's why people think a lot of people are sort of quite crazy. It was like that John Lennon, what he was doing. He heard the music, and he was dancing to the music, but the majority of the people couldn't hear the music, so they thought he was fucking mad, you know?
No, 100%, mate, 100%. Mind you, most of the geniuses in music are mad, didn't they? It helps.
Well, it's a fine line. I think if you're skint, you're mad. If you're rich, you're a genius.
Right. Listen, I tell you what, mate, love that talking about the music there, but I'm going to list off 3 films here, right?
Go on.
I'm going to say The Firm, Rise of the Foot Soldier, and possibly, now, this third film that I'm going to mention, you probably know what it is, right? And there's a toss-up between my all-time favourite film, either Quadrophenia or this film that I'm going to name next, and that's The Business, right? It's a ferret, like, you talk about fine lines, mate, it's like a hair. Like, I've watched Quadrophenia more times than I've had hot dinners. I can recite every word. I could have it on mute and tell you exactly what they're saying. And I could do exactly the same with The Business, mate, right? But them 3 films, I mean, you've been in, God, I could be listing them all day, like the films you've been in and what you've done, Eddie. But for me I just wanted to list off them 3 films: The Firm, Rise of the Foot Soldier, and The Business. Now, let's be honest, mate. Them 3 films alone would look outstanding on any.
Well,
TV,
there's a link to all of them, really, Ben. Every single one of them have got a link to each other, really, because they were all part of a culture, you know. It's like Quadrophenia, obviously, was the culture of the mods and the culture of that. The Business was this sort of criminal culture in Spain. And I remember when we done The Firm, I was talking to Nick Love, and we was talking about how we should play the family, you know.
Yeah.
Myself, Camille, and Callum. And what we tried to what we worked out after it all was that we wanted to try and turn the stereo. I've said this so many times when people ask me about this film. We wanted to sort of turn the stereotype around, you know, that everybody thought that people that got involved in all this football stuff, all this football violence and all that, they would, you know, people thought that they come from sort of dysfunctional families, you know. So we wanted to just turn that around to say that this kid, you know, he didn't come from a dysfunctional family. He come from a very loving family. His mum and dad loved him very much. And it was just the peer pressure, and it was just the sensibleness of the mum and dad to let him just go his own way, hoping that he'll just find his feet at some point, you know. And it's the same with the business, you know. That so with the firm, it was that football culture, so there was a culture now. With the business, it was that Spanish criminal culture that was going on out there. But the business was, it was so much fun to work on, mate.
I can imagine. I mean, it's one of them films, like, well, you know, when you watch a film, sometimes you pause it, you go and make a cup of tea, or you go and get some biscuits, you go to the loo. The business, anyone pauses it and there's trouble, mate, I'm telling you, because I absolutely love it. And let's talk, we're talking about music. How good of a soundtrack is the Firms and the business as well? Oh my God, mate, that is absolutely mind-blowing.
That's Nick Love. I mean, have you interviewed Nick?
No, but what a genius.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't take away from the actors that he used, you know, to make these films.
No, of course not,
You know what I mean? I mean, I think there's a big part of, especially the business, was the people, the actors that played the business, like myself and Jeff and Tamar and Danny. We sort of all knew them sort of people anyway, you know. We grew up with them sort of people because myself, Jeff and Tamar, we'd known each other since we were youngsters, you know, around South East London. And we grew up around all them people, the people that we was playing, like Freddie Foreman and Charlie Wilson and all that little firm that went out to Spain and started off all the smuggling. You know, we grew up around all them, the great train robbers and all that. That was all drinking around Bermondsey. So when we come to play them parts, we sort of knew the subtext of it all anyway, you know. And I think that's why it sort of gelled so much, you know.
Nice. I mean, me and the missus, we went to, where did we go? Fungarola, probably this time last year. And, mate, you should have seen me. As soon as I knew we were going there, straight on 80s casuals, mate, classics. Got the old Fila shorts on the firm. I've got the old Fila T-shirts. I've got the tracksuit tops. The bins were on. I was walking down there like I owned the manor, mate, honestly. And it's one of them films that it just does it to you. You stick the headphones on, you're listening to a bit of Duran Duran, and you're walking down there, and you think, I look the bollocks here. And that film, it's one of them films where you watch it and you feel good about it, don't you? You're like,
it is. It's very clever because the way Nick done it, there's a thing in film, there's a trick, you know, everything's a trick. You know about tricks, and it's called saturation, you know. So when you're editing a movie, the saturation of the movie is as powerful as the actual performances in the movie. So if you want to start off beautiful and bright and everything, you saturate the film like it's sunlight, you know, and it's bright. And as the characters start going down the shaky roads, the saturation sort of minimalistically starts sort of fading down, you know. So the colour of the film starts going with how your mind is going with the film. So it becomes the saturation becomes quite subliminal with the whole thing, you know. It's a clever. The editors are the ones that make the movie anyway, you know. The actors and the director just shoot little clumps of film, and it's the editors that actually make the movie, you know.
Oh, 100%. I mean, as I said to you, you know, I mean, when I knew I could get you on it, I could have easily just done a whole chat all about the business, and there's so much to ask about it. And
But again, to answer your question, Ben, about Quadrophenia, what a fucking movie, you know?
Oh, mate, unbelievable. I was lucky enough, I did the 40th anniversary. I did a Q&A in, oh God, where was it? Coventry. They did a CovCon, and they asked me, they said, do you want to host the Q&A? Mate, I was like, fucking get on this. Do I want to host it? There's a bear shit in the woods. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm all over it, mate. And, but as you said, iconic film again. Another film with an incredible soundtrack. I mean,
The Who again, you
yeah,
know? It was like what I said to you about McVicar, The Who, all The Who. I mean, if you sit and listen to the soundtrack of McVicar, it is something else, mate. Something else. And then Tommy, and then just, I mean, it's endless, really. This is why it was a really difficult question to ask somebody of an age, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
That sort of, they've grown up with them, so you know, everyone's as good as each other. I don't think there's and even Gary Busey's sort of Buddy Holly film. He played Buddy Holly, Gary Busey. What a film! What a
Yeah.
film! What
Fuck me,
a film! If you haven't seen it, mate, watch it.
no,
It's an education, because Buddy, if Buddy Holly wasn't around, you wouldn't have had the Beatles and all that, because Buddy Holly in 1958 and 1959 was writing, producing, mixing, everything that he done, you know. He was the first to start really using double tracking tapes, tracks, putting one track on top of another, harmonising with himself and all that. And then he was the first one really to start putting strings on rock and roll records. It'd never been done really before that. You know, when you've got a free chord song like, I don't know, Moonbeams or something. If you listen to Buddy Holly's Moonbeams and you hear the strings that are going through it and all the classical stuff, it's just like, fuck me, that's 1958, you know what I mean? The Beatles only caught up with that in 1965.
no, I'm a big fan of Buddy Holly. I went to actually a musical about his life in Leatherhead years and years ago. Might have been called That'd Be the Day. I mean, that's normally what them ones are called. I'm not sure it was that one, because there was one in the West End called That'd Be the Day.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But that all pales into insignificance to Gary Busey playing Buddy Holly. It's called The Buddy Holly Story. Try and watch it, Ben. You'll love it.
I have seen it, because I mean, I got into that music from my old man. I mean, again, my son's called Lonnie after Lonnie Donegan. The king of skiffle.
You want to know a story? I'll tell you a story about Lonnie Donegan, right? When I lived in Marbella for 7 years, and myself and a guy called Paul Newman, we started a blues band up, and we used to rehearse actually in Fengarola, you know. We used to use a little recording studio, but we was doing really sort of pure Chicago blues. And this guy, Paul Newman, he was like note for note with Eric Clapton on the guitar, absolutely fucking stunning. And one day we was in the rehearsal room and we was doing Fleetwood Mac, Sugar Mama, right? Door opened, Lonnie Donegan walked in.
Oh, brilliant.
And I just went, it's Lonnie Donegan, you know. He's just like, because my old man used to have Cumberland Gap on and all that, and Jack the Diamonds and all that all the time when I was growing up. And I really took that Lonnie Donegan stuff with me, you know. And to meet him and for him to just sit down and he was just sitting down enjoying our music, you know.
Brilliant.
And it was just, it was an amazing fucking moment, really.
I think
I wrote that in the book. I think I actually wrote it in the book.
There's a bit about the blues and he's like, I mean, obviously I never saw him live or never met him or nothing like that. I met his boy Peter Donegan.
Yeah,
he's a
nice kid. He's a nice kid, yeah, because he was rehearsing with his boy, because he was playing in his boy's. His boy was either his manager or they had a band together. He was a keyboard player or something. I can't remember.
He was the keyboard player. Yeah, that's exactly right. But I mean, again? Oh my God! I mean, my old man used to play that music to me when we used to go to Butlins or something. He used to put it on. And the first time I heard it, I was a bit like, "Are you sure? Turn it in. What's all this about?" And then he played it again. My favourite Lonnie Donegan song is probably Railroad Bill.
Nice.
And then, yeah, beautiful, mate. And Cumberland Gap, which you mentioned, beautiful song. Rock Island Line is a masterpiece.
Perfect.
The way it starts off slow and then ends up going so fast. I mean, it was incredible music.
Yeah, but that was a cover version, you know. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm.
The original is. I have seen. I'm trying to think where I read it about. I mean, we've got this lovely thing these days of a phone in our pocket. We find everything out, and I actually dug deep about a lot of his songs. And I did. Yeah. There was
Bill Brucey and all that. He used to sort of cover him, Blind Lemon Jefferson, and just absolute brilliant, mate. And of course, you know, without Skiffle, there wouldn't have been no Beatles, really.
100%. He influenced a lot of musicians. I mean, did you see that moment on? I mean, I don't really watch The Voice; it ain't for me. But Peter Donegan was on there, and
yes, I remember.
He said, "Oh, my name's Peter Donegan," and Tom Jones said, "Any relation to Lonnie?" And he went, "Yeah, that was my dad."
And they done a song together.
I Never Fall in Love Again.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful moment. I mean,
yeah, I forgot about that.
That was incredible.
I forgot about that.
Ah, man, you get this stuff like that is pure magic, isn't it? Eh?
Well, music is magic, Ben, isn't it? Really, it's the only thing that actually calms any sort of vicious beast, doesn't it? Music, apart from all that sort of romper stomper stuff, but to them people, they love that anyway. But music is, I mean, the thing is, we are all made up of sound. You know, the universe vibrates on sound, and our whole body and everything, tables, chairs, fucking trees, grass, is all just audio. Everything's vibration. You know, it's all made up of sound, so it's natural to us to adhere to sound, you know.
100%, mate. 100%. Couldn't agree more. I mean, listen, Eddie, I could, as I said to you, chat to you for hours, mate. Absolute hours. But
we'll do it again. We'll do it again. The next time we've got something out or whatever, we'll do it again, Ben.
Well, I was going to come down. I think, Jeff, you did something with him in Margate, didn't you? Is it the Metropole that he did a little evening with Jeff Bell? And I think he wanted me to come down and do a little bit like a little bit of magic or something beforehand, but I was away somewhere gigging in Glasgow or something.
I suggested it actually. I actually suggested it to him, you know. And what we done an evening with. So me and Jeff just sort of sat up on the stage and invited the audience to sort of just question us about. Well, it was more about Jeff really, but you know, but where we were both, because we've done about 6 or 7 projects together, me and Jeff, film-wise, sort of thing. So it was really nice, and it was really, really successful. And what we're going to do, we're going to tour it this year. We're going to tour it. We're going to start off in Scotland. We've got a few venues in Scotland that want to sort of take us on. And then we've got Newcastle, Sunderland, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Leicester. We're going to come all the way back down to London.
Beautiful.
Nice tour. You'll be more than welcome to come on it, Ben. You know, if you any time you want to come up and open up or whatever, it'd be beautiful to do it because it is an environment where you'll be perfect with what you do.
Appreciate that. Hopefully, there's a date where I can get on board and that. I know I mentioned a couple of venues in Belfast to him because he said he wouldn't mind coming over here doing something. So I gave him a few messages with some good venues. Brilliant. But that would be good, man. I appreciate that. So what's the next 12 months hold for you, Ed?
Well, I mean, I've just done this beautiful, beautiful film with a lovely actor called Charlie Palmer Rothwell. And the director, David Leon. Absolutely, I can't really say too much about a couple of future projects that's going on, sort of thing, at the moment, because you sort of, unless you're told, you can say things about them. But beautiful little movie. And I've got a couple myself. You know, I'm just in sort of talks with a film company for one of my own scripts. You know, and it looks like it's happening in sort of early spring, Ben, so fingers crossed from that. And I've also got a cowboy, a western series that I've written, like a season of about 3 Londoners who escape a prison in England, and they sort of make their way over to America, and it's their adventures through America sort of thing. So hopefully, you know, Netflix or whatever's going to pick that up. And yeah, and there's another, you know, there's just things in the pipeline, Ben, really. So it's going to be quite an exciting little 24, I think.
Good. Good. I wish you all the success in the world, mate, because it's great to, I mean, for starters, I want to say thank you for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. It has been a pleasure. And as we started off, we mentioned about your book. Is there ever going to, do you reckon you'll do some readings or end up doing a little, you know, couple of nights somewhere and just read a couple of chapters from the book and then start like opening up for questions and that? That a possibility?
Wow. I never even thought of that, Ben. That's food for thought in itself. I was thinking about maybe sitting down and doing an audio book with it, sort of reading my own book sort of thing, which I think could be quite a eventful sort of little thing to do, not for anything other, because this book is also about sort of, you know, just following your passion, really. You can start off life how you start off life, in and out of jail and whatever, but once you get that little bit of passion to do something, there's no reason why anyone can't do it, Ben, you know?
100%, mate.
Jeff Bell, myself, and all that. We you know, if you go back 40 years and you saw the fucking 3 of us, we were all like that, something out of Oliver Twist. You'd never believe that we'd be doing films and we'd be doing the things that we do, sort of thing, you know. So yeah, I'm just glad you enjoy the book, and to tell you the truth, Ben, sort of everyone who's read the book haven't really got that any bad things to say about it, you know.
There's nothing bad to say. I think honestly, it's. I mean, I'm not a big lover of books, and that's the honest truth. If I could avoid reading, I would, because I've got a short attention span. You know, it needs to catch me straight away. And as you mentioned before, I even mentioned it. This book does exactly that. It catches you where you think, oh fuck me, I'm going to have to read a bit more. And before you know it, you're halfway through the book, and you're like, it's 3 in the morning, and you're thinking, Christ, I should turn it in.
I know. It's that first page, isn't it? That first couple of pages, you think, what the fuck's going on here? You know, because people only know you as an actor, and when they start realising you've been arrested for fucking murder and armed robbery and attempted murder, and obviously all fabricated by the police sort of fabricated all the evidence against me, sort of thing. So, but it's another reason why I wanted to put it out there, really, because all this stuff that's going on at the moment with the police and with everything, and they try and make themselves out to be goody good people, sort of thing. They're not really. No, they're really not. There's more bad than good in the police service, I think.
Couldn't agree more, mate. I couldn't agree more. I've just got to say, Eddie, this has been an absolute pleasure, mate, and I've enjoyed so much chatting to you. And hopefully we can catch up one day, maybe even do something together. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? So
we'll keep you posted with the tour, Ben. And if you can come and jump on a couple of dates, that'd be absolutely brilliant.
100%, mate. 100%. But before I leave you, I've got to say one thing. Good luck with the Dutch.
Yeah, fuck the Dutch. You with us now, son. You're with us now, son.
Eddie, honestly, mate, God bless you, and I hope you have a fantastic year. And I'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining me.
And you, mate. Take it easy, brother.
See you soon, man. Thank you so much.
Bye, man.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
He's a magic mug, a man of illusion, a magic